أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم لعنهم جميعا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك وأناخت برحلك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. قال سيدنا ومولانا أبو عبد الله الحسين عليه السلام: فلعمري ما الإمام إلا العامل بالكتاب والآخذ بالقسط والدائن بالحق والحابس نفسه على ذات الله. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To know what Imam Hussain alayhi salam did on the day of ASHURA and how he ended up in Karbala, we have to know the history of Imam Hussain. And we started to analyze the history of this great Imam, the Imam that he is only the guidance for whole humankind, not only in his era and after himself, but also before that. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Holy Quran, وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ إِسْمَاعِيلَ إِنَّهُ كَانَ صَادِقَ الْوَعْدِ وَكَانَ رَسُولًا نَبِيًّا. He tells the Prophet, mention Ismail, إِنَّهُ كَانَ صَادِقَ الْوَعْدِ. He used to fulfill his promises. صَادِقَ الْوَعْدِ وَكَانَ رَسُولًا نَبِيًّا. He was our apostle. He was a prophet of us. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam mentions that this Ismail is not the Ismail son of Ibrahim. This is someone else. He was killed. And actually, they killed him brutally. And when angels descended upon him to ask him if he want to do anything, if you want to put anything in action against your enemy, what was his replies? He said, no, إِنَّ لِي بِبْنِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ الْحُسَيْنِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. No, I've heard the story. I've heard what will happen to Hussein ibn Ali and how patient he will be when they kill him and his progeny and even his infant. So I want to follow him. To know the history of this great man, we have to understand and analyze his stance. So we said that he did not accept to pay allegiance to Yazid. Why? Because paying allegiance used to be very important action. Usually, tyrants actually oppress noble people to take allegiance from them, so they can guarantee that their government will continue easily without any revolutions or any rallies or any objections. And that's why they used to oppress noble people like Imam Hussain to take allegiance from them, because they've heard that Yazid have heard that Imam Hussain salamullahi alayhi won't pay allegiance to him and won't stay aside so Yazid can do whatever he desires. And that's why he oppressed Imam Hussain. He wanted to force Imam Hussain, so Imam Hussain pays his allegiance and bay'ah to Yazid ibn Muawiyah. Of course, Imam Hussain said, وَمِثْلِي لَا يُبَايَعُ مِثْلَهُ. It's impossible. It's impossible for an Imam, whether it's me or Imam al-Hassan or Imam al-Hussain or Imam al-Sadiq or Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, no different. It's impossible for an Imam to pay allegiance to someone like Yazid, who is an alcoholic man who doesn't hesitate to kill any innocent person. That's why I won't pay allegiance. And then Imam Hussain alayhi salam left the city of his grandfather, Al-Madinah Al-Munawwar. He went to Mecca, the holy city of Mecca. And it was on the 28th of Jamad al-Thani, 2 days before Rajab. And he stayed there in Mecca for almost 5.5 months. So he went to Mecca on the 28th of Jamad al-Thani, and he left Mecca on the 8th of the Hajj. So 5.5 months. And most of the work of Imam al-Hussain was done during that period of time. Allow me to mention that not only Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam rejected Yazid, but also Abdullah ibn Zubayr as well rejected to pay allegiance to Yazid. Why? Because he wanted the dunya. Abdullah ibn Zubayr didn't want the successorship for akhirah, for hereafter, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wanted the dunya like his father, Zubayr ibn al-Awwam. And that's why he went to Mecca as well. However, when Meccan people of Mecca saw that Imam al-Hussain has moved to their city, they got so happy, and all attention went to Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam, and everyone disregarded Abdullah ibn Zubayr. Anyway, Imam al-Hussain went there in Mecca, and he went to some of lands that Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib used to have. He stayed there, and he used to go to the mosque, Masjid al-Haram, at least twice a day. And in some narrations, historians mention that Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam used to recite the adhan himself. Stand up and recite the adhan, and people used to gather around Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam, sit around Imam al-Hussain and listen to his speeches. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of Imam al-Hussain's sermon that was delivered by him on Mecca. We only have some of them. But the work, the political work, was done during that period of time, which is, I believe, it's very sensitive period, and we really need to study that period, because most of Islamic countries, and when I say countries, of course, back then it was one country, but now they are several. So Iraq, Sham, Iran was one country. So most of Islamic countries, or cities, allow me to say, realized that Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam rejected Yazid. everyone have heard about Imam Hussain refusal to pay allegiance to Yazid. And Imam Hussain alayhi salam started his work, his job, as an appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as an imam under the name of Allah, as the grandson of Rasulullah, as the master wa Sayyid Shabab Ahl al-Jannah. Okay, he started his work and Meccan were very happy. However, Mecca back then wasn't a very important city politically. It was a religious city, but not an important city political wise. Medina was much more important, because it was the city of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah was buried there, and Ahlul Bayt used to reside there. So Ahlul Bayt used to be the opposition. They used to be against Muawiyah and Umayyad and Yazid. So that's why Medina was very important, but Mecca wasn't that important. So when we go and read the history, we feel that Meccan used to be naive people. Because Umayyad moved from Mecca to Sham, and Bani Hashim moved to Medina. So Mecca was only a holy city with normal people who don't have deep political views. Okay, and that's why we see, even when Imam Hussain went there and delivered his speeches, and they showed Imam Hussain their love actually, and they told Imam Hussain that we are so happy that you are with us, and we are so happy for you to stay with us. But they didn't have enough willpower and enough political view to join Imam al-Hussein's camp and to join Imam al-Hussein's army. And that's why Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi was observing the whole Islamic nation, delivering speeches. And of course, because Mecca is important religiously and people used to go to visit Mecca, everyone realized that Imam al-Hussein has migrated to Mecca, and everyone realized that Imam al-Hussein has migrated to Mecca not to stay there forever. He took it as a middle city. He took it as a city that he resides in that city for some period of time, and his actually a view is much broader than Meccan's view. So what happened there? In Kufa, probably the largest city of Islamic country, or one of the largest. I believe it was the largest. Kufa was a very big city, tremendously big. Some historians mention that millions of people used to reside there. And you know why? Because Ali ibn Abi Talib, the commander of the faithful, used to rule Kufa. Okay? And Kufians, because they tasted the taste of Ali ibn Abi Talib's justice, and after they lost Ali ibn Abi Talib and Imam al-Hasan, they were so thirsty to Ahlul Bayt's justice, and they were so sick of Umayyad's oppressions. And that's why people went to visit Sulaiman ibn Surad al-Khuza'i, one of Kufians, very famous guy. He used to be a follower of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. They went to visit him and to tell him that now that we see Muawiyah has passed away and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has favored the Islamic nation with Muawiyah's death, as they said, we need to send letters to Imam Hussain salamullahi alayh and ask him to come to us, and we will help him. We will help him to take back at least Iraq. We will help him and be his soldier so he can at least rule us. Then Sulaiman ibn Surad al-Khuza'i, and I'll talk about him because he is an important person. Sulaiman ibn Surad said and told them, فَإِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ أَنَّكُمْ نَاصِرُوهُ وَمُجَاهِدُوا عَدُوَّهُ فَاكْتُبُوا إِلَيْهِ. I want to tell you something, O Kufians. If you know, if you see yourself that you are able to help him, okay, you can help him. You wish that you are able to be a good helper of Imam al-Hussein, good soldier of Imam al-Hussein, write to Imam al-Hussein to come to you. وَإِنْ خِفْتُمُ الْوَهْنَ وَالْفَشَلْ فَلَا تَغُرُّ الرَّجُلْ فِي نَفْسِهِ. But if you think that you are not the man of that field, you cannot be a true companion of Hussein ibn Ali salamullahi alayh, do not write anything. Do not trick that person. He is the last one of the household of the Prophet. خامس أهل العباء خامس أصحاب الكساء. Do not ask him to come to you. Why asking him to come to you and then abandoning him? Then actually surround him to the enemy. And they said, no, we really want to help him. And then they wrote, وَنَحْنُ, a long letter. I'm only quoting some of it. وَنَحْنُ مُقَاتِلُونَ مَعَكِ وَبَاذِلُونَ أَنفُسَنَا مِن دُونِكَ فأقبل إلينا فرحا مسرورا مأمونا إماما خليفة علينا فإنه ليس علينا إمام. Now we are writing to you to tell you that we all are your soldiers. We all wish to have our souls and bodies as ransom for you. We all wish to sacrifice for you. So please come to us and help us. Put that in your mind. They asked Imam al-Hussein to help them. Why? Because they were sick of Umayyad's oppressions. So come to us while you are happy. Farihan masroora. Ma'muna. So you will be safe. Don't worry. Imaman. You will be our leader. They don't mean Imam by the name of Allah. They mean the leader. Khalifatan. We will put you as our Khalifa. Khalifatan alayna فإنه ليس علينا Imam, because we don't believe in Yazid and we don't believe in Nu'man ibn Bashir, the governor of Kufa. In another letter, some of them wrote to Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayh, إنا قد حبسنا أنفسنا عليك. Okay? We will be as your slave. We will be with you. فنحن 100,000. We are 100,000 people. قد فشى فينا الجور. And Umayyad have oppressed us. And we need your help. So come to us and please help us. Amongst those who wrote to Imam al-Hussein were few people one of them called Shabath ibn Rab'i. Probably you've heard his name. We hear his name every Ashura when we listen to the Maqtal. And Amr ibn al-Hajjaj. Okay? These two guys wrote to Imam Hussain that أقدم إلينا, come to us, فإنك تقدم على جند لك مجندة, because if you come to us, you will find that we are not only your soldier, we are actually an organized army for you. So it's not soldier, we are organized army. جند لك مجندة means organized army. Yet we see in history that not only they abandoned Imam al-Hussein and surrounded Imam al-Hussein, they fought against Imam al-Hussein. They were amongst those who killed Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi on the day of Ashura. And that's why Imam al-Hussein told them, you wrote to me, you asked me to come to you. Oh Shabath ibn Rab'i, oh Amr ibn al-Hajjaj, you wrote to me, you asked for my help. Now that I am here, now you fought against me? What a shame, what a pity. But they refused. They did not admit that they wrote to him. But the historians wrote that. And actually Shabath ibn Rab'i once was going to the battle of Nahrawan with Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amr ibn al-Hajjaj, Shabath ibn Rab'i and Ash'ath ibn al-Qais. And suddenly they just left the army of Ali ibn Abi Talib and they rejoined it after a few days. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi went to them and told them, why you left our army? Because they used to be famous people. They said, no, we had things to do back home and that's why we left and we came. Now we are here. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib replied, no, I know what you did. Actually, you went and you stayed, and I know that you captured a lizard and you paid your allegiance to that lizard to mock Ali ibn Abi Talib sallallahu alayhi. And let me tell you something, that you will be resurrected on the day of judgment with that lizard as your imam. Okay? And let me add one more thing for you. Ali ibn Abi Talib, the commander of the faithful, told them, add one more thing for you. Do you know what is that? O Shabath ibn Rab'i, O Amr ibn al-Hajjaj, you will be amongst those who will be fighting and killing my son al-Hussein ibn Ali salamullahi alayhi. And they did. Okay. When Al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam received all of those letters, thousands of letters, not only one major letter without other letters, no, thousands of signatures and letters asking Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam to help them so they can get rid of Umayyad's oppression and Umayyad's Khalifa. Imam al-Hussein decided to send his cousin Muslim ibn Aqil to Kufa so he can assess what they are saying, whether they are actually really want him to go or not. Of course, Imam al-Hussein knew that he will be killed on the day of Ashura at the city of Karbala, but he has to do his job, isn't it? He has to do his job. He wrote a letter, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, من حسين ibn Ali إلى الملأ من المؤمنين والمسلمين. Okay, letter from Hussein ibn Ali. How oppressed is Imam al-Hussein? Just that, Hussein ibn Ali, without mentioning grandson of Rasulullah, son of Ali ibn Abi Talib, son of Fatima Zahra. You know why? Because not all of them accept Imam al-Hussein's position and rank. Amma ba'd, some people came to me, Hani, Sa'id, brought your letters to me, okay? And I fully understood what you say on those letters, that you don't have any imam, you don't have any leader, and you want me as your leader. أنه ليس علينا إمام فأقبل لعل الله أن يجمعنا بك على الهدى والحق. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us through you. And that's why وقد بعثت إليكم أخي وابن عمي وثقتي من أهل بيتي Muslim ibn Aqil. So I am sending to you my brother, my cousin, and the trusted one amongst my progeny, Muslim ibn Aqil. And I asked him to test you, to see what you are saying, whether it's correct or not. And that's why I've sent him, and I will be waiting for his response. If he respond to me to come to Kufa, to come to you, I will come. فإن كتب إلي أنه قد أجمع رأي ملائكم وذوي الفضل والحجة منكم على مثل ما قدمت علي به رسلكم. Okay, I will come to you. And then Imam Hussain wrote what I just read at the beginning of my today's speech. فلعمري ما الإمام إلا العامل بالكتاب. I swear by myself that Imam and leader is not but someone who actually follows Quran's verses. العامل بالكتاب والآخذ بالقسط. Who actually is just and follows justice. والدائن بالحق. He takes his religion, he applies his religion بالحق, not بالباطل. Sometimes, let's say, praying is something haq, but if you do that pray with the intention to show off, it's going to be batil. So what I am doing is not only haq, the way to reach that is haq as well. I'm doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فما الإمام فلعمري ما الإمام إلا العامل بالكتاب والآخذ بالقسط والدائن بالحق والحابس نفسه على ذات الله. Imam is not but someone who actually sees what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, and he won't have any intention in opposed to Almighty God's orders. So Imam Hussain alayhi salam is educating by his letter Kufians that who they have to take as their leaders. Inshallah, we'll continue analyzing the history of Imam Hussain, to know Imam Hussain better, to know Imam Hussain better than before, inshallah, to love Imam Hussain more than before. هذا والسلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.